Oh, there we go. There's chat. Hi guys. Hi guys. Hi guys. Okay. I see you, Amy Crew. I see you. I see Ginny. Trial TV. Yes, I made it back. Deleted myself from my own stream. Who is surprised? No one. No one at all. Yeah, so Sarah Boone, you guys. Wow. Were you guys surprised at how quickly that the verdict came back? I need to fix the slow chat, and Aaron told me how, and I already forgot. Yeah. So I thought Sarah had a chance right up until I thought she might get it. She might get there. She might get there. And then the state put on their rebuttal case, and I about died. I was jaw on the floor. I had never heard those. I'd never heard those recordings before. I didn't know they existed. And that has to be one of the most disturbing things I have ever witnessed, ever. Unbelievable. Yes, the state did have a lot of evidence, Amy, and they had a lot of evidence because Sarah told on herself. I mean, your phone, I tell everybody that your phone will tell on you, and if the phone doesn't, the Walmart cameras are gonna get you, but your phone is gonna tell on you, and Sarah's phone told on her. Oh my god, Jeannie, yeah, that video of George cowering, oh my god. I will never go back and watch that again, ever, 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 ever. I knew she was done after they brought that out. It was like a mic drop moment. So, she should have taken that dream deal they offered her of she would have been out in, like, 8 years by the time you figure all the math. Yeah, Chris is right. It's so, 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 so haunting. So, okay, I wanted to talk to you guys about Sarah Boone. I wanted to see if anybody had any questions about it or wanted to talk about anything. Um, I did work on her case back in 2021 when I was working for Billy Lane, who is now probably one of the most famous private investigators on the planet, thanks to Sarah. I'm not sure he'd be too happy about that. But I did, spend time with her in the Orlando County Jail. Um, I think it was about 8 hours total. I made 2 trips over there. Yeah, Leah, I agree. I'm glad she didn't take the I'm glad she didn't, Chris, Leah wouldn't doesn't know how to do that. She's not very techy. Amy says, "I felt like I had just attended an indie film fest after watching those terrible phone videos. I too will not revisit them. I hope I never, ever, ever, ever hear those again." Um, I'm glad she didn't take the deal also, Leah. I mean, she does deserve to be in prison for the rest of her life, and I believe thank you, Jeannie. I believe she will be. I think Judge Kranick's gonna come back and throw the book at her, and he's gonna have every piece of law lined up to back him up, but, uh, she's shown no remorse. She has just been oh my god, this is horrible. What did I glean from my 8 hours with Sarah, or am I not allowed to talk about it? I can talk about it. She's been convicted. So, um, I learned that Sarah is all about Sarah. I heard the exact same stories you guys have heard that we have heard from Sarah when she testified on the stand. The same things that she said in the interview, with the detectives. She takes absolutely no responsibility for George being dead. She never mentioned George at all. It's all about her. She's very polite. I understand that she and James Owens got into some fights at the jail, but with me, she was very polite. I asked her a lot of questions. I was trying to get background on her. Uh, so what did I glean from her? That I didn't wanna work on her case, and I stopped working on her case. So, I gave it back over to Billy, and I said, "You're doing all the work, you don't need me on this." I think he just wanted to, someone to commiserate with maybe, but, yeah, she should have taken the deal, Amy, I agree. She should have taken it, but you're right, we wouldn't have seen the evidence, and oh my god, was there a most shocking the squeegee of justice, was there a most shocking moment in the trial for you? Yeah, it was those videos. It was those videos of George that blew me away. I wasn't surprised by her testimony. I wasn't surprised by her affect. I wasn't surprised by her non-emotional reaction to anything. But what surprised me terribly, horribly, because I was not prepared, was those videos. And I feel like silence probably floated down across the internet during that. I don't know if I was in anybody's chat or not. I think I was just listening. Uh, Thank you, Jamie. I don't even know how many people are watching. Oh, 7. Yay. I've got 7 people in here. That's fantastic. Oh, so yeah, Sarah's sentencing. Amy says, I never, over all of these years, believed that George was a violent guy. No, I think he was just probably a messy drunk. Um, I imagine, I mean, his family has said as much that he was not pleasant when he was drinking. So I believe I believe there probably was some violence on his part, but I think one, Sarah was the instigator, that she was the aggressor, and that that TV, him bashing the TV with the bat, that was staged. I think that TV was dead. He wasn't angry. He was just swinging at the TV. That was the weirdest thing ever. I'm sorry, Barbara, that it was confusing on to how to get here. That's on me. It's all my fault. I made technical mistakes, even though I tried not to. So I'm so, so sorry. But thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it. And thank you to Trial TV Live, who are my new friends and the best place to watch trials. And they are helping me with my technical difficulties. You guys know them. A lot of you seem to know them. Let's see. How certain am I that Judge K will? Oh, I am certain Judge K is going to give her life. There, I I can't wait to see what he has to say about her, because he has sat there through all of her ridiculousness for um all of these months now, right? I know he wasn't the original judge, but he will come back. He has done I have never admired a judge so much in my life as I admire that man. He cleaned up Sarah Boone's case, and it is so airtight that I don't know how it could ever be overturned on appeal. So I am certain that Judge K will give her life after seeing the George videos. I'm certain because of that. Yeah. That did her in for sure. Judge K for president. Yeah, Amy, really. Barbara thinks she'll only get 30 years. Okay. Well, she might. We never know. I mean, she really should have taken that deal. Did I think she was guilty when I met her and not a victim? Jeannie says. I try not to go in with the mindset that somebody is 100% guilty before we've gone to trial on their case. I don't ever ask them if they did it. Sometimes I know because I see the recordings, but I had only seen, I think at that time, I had seen her original police report, whatever supplements there were. I had prepped depo questions, and I don't even know if I'd watched the whole entire interrogation video. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. before I went over there and talked to her. I just went in and started talking to her, just started asking her questions and listening to her talk because she will talk. Did I think she was a victim? I mean, how can you tell, you know? At that point, I guess I didn't have any opinion on it. I try to stay really neutral as much as possible. Amy says asks, "Are you satisfied with your defense?" My defense or the defense that the defense team? I think James Owens did the the best he could with what he had. He well, his I don't know because I wasn't in the courtroom, and I know that Chris was monitoring the feed from the courtroom, but, their friend Jules, she was in there, and so she has seen the jury, and I guess on November 13th, I'm going to go on Trial TV Live with Jules, who was in the courtroom and saw the jury, and talk about the case there. But I'm not sure that James's sort of, "Oh, I'm just from a small town" shtick worked. It was kind of annoying to me. Um, his closing I thought was a disaster. I couldn't follow it. It was all over the place. He's like, "I have no" he sounded like me. I'm like, "I've got notes too." And yeah, I can't find them either, but I'm also not trying to do a closing argument in a very highly publicized murder trial right now. So, I think he did the best he could, and I think that they did I think that they had to do the, battered women's self-defense because Sarah made them do that. I think had he had the choice, 1, he would have gone with the plea, and 2, he would have done the accidental, which would have matched up with her interrogation video. Did I hear Jeannie says, "Did you hear that Sarah said she has" Oh, I saw that on YouTube somewhere, and I was like, "Okay, that's the first I've ever heard that." Yeah, cancer. No, that's the first I've ever, heard that was I saw somebody was talking about that the other day. I don't believe that's true. I don't believe it's true, but Amy says, "Does Sarah seem as snarky, snaky, and manipulative in person as she does in body cam and on the stand?" I mean, her presence is very much the same. Uh, she, she's kind of prim and proper. She doesn't curse. Um, she's adamant about her opinions. She wants you to believe what she wants you to believe. She doesn't come across in person to me, at least at that time, as any different than how we saw her on the witness stand, really. Yeah, she wrote oh, okay, Jeannie says she wrote it in a letter. Yeah, Leah, I'm sorry, I sent Leah, can if somebody can I have to email Leah the link, hold on. Let's see. Oh, you think Sarah feels very entitled? Well, clearly, and yeah, she got more than a fair trial. I mean, she got a pretty good defense out of the whole thing. And I think the other lawyers left because 1, she was just way too high maintenance, and 2, she had unreasonable expectations. She was way too high maintenance. I mean, I have a phone right now that is completely turned off because the last time I looked at it, I had 60 missed calls from one individual in the county jail. And there was a hurricane. I was just like, no, I can't. I haven't turned it back on and I really need to. But yeah, she really definitely feels entitled, as we know from her letters. And then, of course, her divorce case with Brian, I know that some of the letters she sent to that judge have come out as well. And I've heard SKR, I think, do do his readings of those, and they're very good. Um, so Amy said, okay, Judge K said to Sarah, "Are you satisfied with your defense?" Yeah, appeal protection, 100%. He gave her every opportunity to, and she said, "Absolutely," every single time. I think James blundered by bringing so many. I don't think he needed to bring the other 2 attorneys in, and I don't think he needed to bring the girls, which, you know, I found to be slightly offensive, but also not surprising. I knew one of them was a brand new lawyer because one of the motions that was filed was textbook bar exam legal writing. It was just absolutely like formulaic. And I tutored legal writing for a year during the pandemic after I got out of after law school. So, yeah, she was delusional, Amy, that's right. Uh, Leah, I think, Arian is quietly working in the background doing the modding things right now, so we'll get straightened out later. Uh, let's see. Yeah, hated when he said "the girls." Yeah, that's not going down well. He reminded me of Dick Harpootlian in the Murdaugh trial. Barbara, despite Owen's failings, he did a damn good job for her. He did. Many YouTube lawyers feel Judge Kay's not giving him a continuance would be an appealable factor. I don't. I've watched almost everybody, probably not everybody, but I've watched a lot of coverage. Um, they will file an appeal, and then it'll be up to the appellate lawyer and that panel of judges to decide whether that was an error in not giving her a continuance. But I think he covered his bases. He's too careful, um, in my opinion. Amy says, in Owen's defense, Henderson is a college friend, which means he's known the new attorney literally since birth. It's hard to change that perception. Yeah, exactly, because it was Henderson's daughter. Jeannie says he reminded her of John Pryor in the Chad Daybell case. I did not watch Chad Daybell. I did not. I can't follow all the cases all the time because then I can't do my own work. And if I get real I have the trials usually streaming in the background all the time because I don't like the silence. And that's why I loved the one that Trial TV put up the other day, which was so polite. You guys, this trial, I don't understand. Like, these people were so nice to each other. The the witnesses were prepared. They did their investigation correctly. There was no yelling. There was no everything was just so nice. I just couldn't believe it. It was really interesting to listen to. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, Barbara, she is still gonna be convicted for a very long time, and I did not see the witness prior in the Daybell case. What are you guys gonna watch now? What's next for you? Oh, Barbara says, "I would never wanna talk to Sarah, but if I did, I'd say, 'You do not know the meaning of fractious or notorious,' or nonetheless." I think she tries to sound intelligent when she's just not. Um, do we know if people have made it over here from the other stream? Yeah, she makes up words that I don't think really exist out in the world. So, okay, Amy says she's gonna watch Christiane. I don't even know how to say this person, Abumsilin Selly from the OnlyFans victim. I don't know much about that case. Um, and I don't know what is coming up for I guess Ashley Benefield's sentencing is right the day after Sarah's. Um, I have a sentencing in one of my own cases, so I don't know if I can go to Sarah's sentencing or not. I have to look at the calendar and see. Um, and then I don't know who else is up for trial. I see all the creators kind of asking, "Who do you guys want to see? What do you want to see?" And I can't. I can't. I don't have the ability to cover top to tail a complete trial. Barbara's asking, since you're in Florida, Sam, will you be following the Adelson saga? Um, Probably to some extent. I was aware of the case. I did not watch was it Charlie's? I didn't watch his trial. I saw part of his testimony. I believe that I listened to at least one, if not more, podcasts about that case. Um, so I knew what it was. I knew that that they had come from Miami, that he was a professor. I knew all the stuff, but I didn't watch the trial. Leah's keeping up with Delphi. Okay, so what is going on with Delphi? I'm hearing that I thought Peter or somebody was talking about, they have it the wrong guy, which is interesting. Oh, thank you, Barbara. Barbara says, "I don't need to cover life trials, but my insights into process after the fact would be interesting." I'd like to know about the Delphi investigation, because I know that's gone on for a really long time. Um, and to think that they think they've got the wrong guy. I mean, that we rarely have, I think, a true to who done it anymore. Um, so if we don't know who did it, then that's gonna be really, really interesting. 61 confessions from the guy that they have in custody? Is that right? Leah thinks they have Richard Allen. Okay, Leah thinks that, that Richard Allen is not the right guy. Got you. Okay. Jeannie's gonna follow Brian Koberger. That's not gonna go to trial till next fall though, isn't it? Am I wrong about that? I think everybody will watch that because of the of all the publicity. That was such a horrible case. Um, 61 confessions in Delphi. That's crazy. Yeah, I'm gonna try to give you guys as much insights into cases as you want. Um, I'm looking for feedback on what to do. Like I've been talking to my friends and family about doing this for 5 years now, and this is the first time I've gotten on here. So I'm still trying to figure it out a little bit, how I'm gonna balance my own work and do YouTube as well. And I don't think that there needs to be another trial commentator out there right now, but I am interested in the cases for sure. Okay, Barbara says the Delphi confessions were done under severe duress and the judge has made trial transparency a possible. That's true. Okay, why has that judge shut that courtroom down? What is that about? I don't understand why there's not even audio coming out of there. Um, I I think, I think Florida is a good state to follow because we have such open record laws here. So we have the ability to get a lot of stuff even before a trial. And that's what made Sarah so interesting was everything she was doing before she went on trial. Delphi is a cluster. It sounds like it, Amy. It does. It sounds like it. Yeah. So, when is Corey Richins scheduled to go to trial? Jeannie says, "Yes, he has. I'm wondering if it's because of the age of them. Maybe their parents didn't want it." Oh, shutting the courtroom down. Okay. Yeah. I don't understand that at all. Idaho 4 should be interesting. That guy should take a plea if offered. I mean, it seems like they've got a lot of evidence on him. I know there is some people have some doubt. Um, I have listened to a lot of it in the background. I haven't like gone and read everything for myself everywhere, but it'll be interesting, that's for sure. Andrea Burkhart, Barbara says Andrea Burkhart takes copious notes in Delphi, and she's also a lawyer. Yes, I've seen her channel. It's one of those rare cases where there is reasonable doubt. See, there you go. It's getting harder and harder to be in the world of defense because, like I said, phones and video cameras are telling on us all the time now. So people don't understand the trails they're leaving behind, and what could come out of those cell bright extractions is huge. 2025 for Corey Richins, I think so. I mean, we're coming up on the end now, unbelievably, of 2024. So that's crazy. I don't know if we're gonna see any more cases go to trial this year. All of my trials Only one went this year. I've got one that's been pushed out now from the case, the murders took place in 2018. He's now on the docket. It's a death penalty case. He's now on the docket for December of 2025. So I can't believe he's been sitting in county jail that long. Let's see. They took RA directly to maximum security prison and put him in solitary confinement. He should be in the local jail like every other defendant awaiting trial. If they did that, Leah, they usually will do that for their own protection. I've had that happen here when there was press on a case I was working on, and so they put my guy into solitary, and that was to save him from the rest of the inmate population. Yeah, Amy sorting trash with gloves in the middle of the night was kind of crazy. Jeannie says he seems like he is the type who won't take a plea, and his lawyer seems like she enjoys being on TV too much. Yeah, I guess I've seen her for a minute on there. Yeah. Leah watches Andrea's recaps every night. Yeah, she's a good attorney. There's a lot of good channels on YouTube, you guys, lots of them. It's a hard space to break into. Um, yeah. Oh, okay. Barbara says she's interested in the work defense teams do through and think they are unfairly maligned. Thank you. I appreciate that because I agree. I think they're maligned too. Um, it's a process that people don't really ask that much about, and they really love to hate on it when the cases go to trial. And I understand that we're watching um, despicable people who have done despicable things. I understand that completely. And I never, ever, ever thought I would work in criminal defense. But I had a trial. I, I graduated from law school and I came to Tampa and I went to work for a criminal defense attorney. And I was like, I'm not going to touch your criminal cases. Like, I'm just not going to do that. But turns out I had to. So about 4 months after I started working there, we tried a double homicide and we lost. But the attorney preserved an issue for appeal, which was that our jailhouse snitch was not permitted to testify to counteract the state's jailhouse snitch. Well, the second DCA overturned the conviction, sent it back down to the circuit court. We got the case back again. Now I had been there several years. I'd been in criminal defense then for several years. The defendant was no longer shot and hurting. He was like back and ready to go. I had trial transcripts. I had years of statements of depositions of all kinds of things. I got on the phone with the DNA guy constantly, and we retried it just before they shut the courts down in 2020, and he walked out. I couldn't believe it. I thought that when they stood up and when the foreperson or the clerk read out not guilty, I turned around and looked at the investigator and I was like, am I tired? Did they just say that? And then they said it again because there were two victims and I was like, because the family had already shot him believing he was the perpetrator. So he'd already been shot. That's why he was shot the first time. And they stood up in court after the first time, I think, or maybe, yeah, after the first time during his sentencing, and basically said, "We'll kill you if we get the chance." So for it to come back and then for us to do it over again, that was really interesting. And we got a I'm Sam. Hi, Panic. Hi. I messed up the stream, so anybody who's in here, thank you for getting here. Is that is Panic? Is that Pink Floyd on your thing? It looks like Pink Floyd. Hey, Superball the cat. I saw you last night. Have I ever testified? No, I haven't. But um I've got a sentencing coming up that I will be speaking on behalf of the kid. And when I say kid, my cases right now are mostly made up of teenagers shooting other teenagers, and I'm getting really tired of it. Amy says, I bring an interesting point of view not generally given. Yeah, thank you. I really appreciate that. I just want to see, I want people to understand that the state has every resource at its disposal, nonstop, unlimited funds. State of Florida has, I think, more wrongful convictions than any other state in the country. We have a very healthy death penalty um, situation here where they just took away the you need 12 jurors to be unanimous to convict for death to you only need 8 out of 12 to agree now to send them to death row. And we have more wrongful convictions than anyone, which should tell you a lot. And I think a lot of misconduct is starting to resurface now because a lot of people are getting resentenced. And I've got a resentence sitting in my hallway from 1999 where I they had to stop the resentencing investigation because it looks like the prosecutors set him up. So that's crazy. Let's see. Jeannie's talking about the Menendez brothers. They didn't allow a proper defense in that case the second time. The prosecutor and judge didn't want another loss after OJ. So I have an idea for OJ, and I'd like to revisit it if there's interest in it, because there's a whole generation now that has no idea who OJ was, or Nicole Brown Simpson, or Kato Kalin, or any of Judge Ito, any of the people. But for me, that was the first trial that ever sort of permeated my consciousness. And I think I was about 25 at the time, somewhere in there, in my mid 20s, because I saw the Bronco chase when I was in college, and I was sitting like doing homework, and it was on the TV in like the cafe where I was. I didn't follow the trial so much, but I feel like it became such a pop culture phenomenon where you have this dream team. I mean, this is the birth of the Kardashians, right? We have Robert Kardashian as one of the attorneys. Um, we have Mark Furman, the lead investigator, I guess. Kato Kalin, who I saw once in Los Angeles in the Chateau Marmont. Um, we had all these characters, and then Marsha Clark gets ripped apart in the press for her appearance. Dominic Dunn, who is a great writer and an author, and who suffered the murder of his own daughter, is there every day in the gallery watching this trial and reporting on it, and it's on Entertainment Tonight. Um, and then OJ comes out and writes a book saying, "Oh, well, if I did it, here's how I would have done it." I want to read that book, and I would like to go back and revisit that investigation, that trial, those witnesses, and see how what would happen if OJ had been tried today. You can't go back and redo an investigation, unfortunately. Like, the physical evidence is what it is, whether it exists or not. But I think that could be really interesting. Marsha Clark writes novels now. Um, and I forget what Johnny, not one of them's passed away, maybe Johnny Cochran. Who was her co-counsel? It escapes me. Anyway, thought that maybe could be interesting. Um, as like recorded episodes for me, maybe. Let's see. Okay, so Barbara says, that's an interesting story. I think that could be your niche, visiting already adjudicated cases from your experienced views. Yeah, so the one that I have that I'm working on right now, the state didn't want to pay for. They don't ever want to pay for post-conviction work, and that's I work for the state. I mean, I can work for anybody. Anybody could come and hire me, but the work I do, I'm paid by the state of Florida, by an agency that funds all of the indigent defense in the state of Florida. So they don't want to pay for post-conviction work, and that's what's really, really interesting. Panic says, yes, it is Pink Floyd, showing my age. Hey, listen, I saw them in like 1987 in the Ohio State Stadium in the Horseshoe. I think it was the first concert they ever allowed there. Thought it was a really great experience. Superball says, Squeegees and I built to chat now for some reason, so here I am. Superball the cat is Trial TV's one of Trial TV's cats. Jeannie says she's 56. I'm 51. Amy Crew loves Pink Floyd. Um, Leah's responding to Amy. No, they can be in solitary and not be suicidal. They say they are keeping in solitary confinement for his safety. That happens all the time, especially in high profile cases. Um, let's see. Hi, Julie. Welcome to my very first uh, stream. Superball is asking about the Innocence Project. And I have to laugh. Is anybody listening to the Wade Wilson phone calls? Anyone? Anyone? Please tell me somebody is. So there's only one real, I think, I'm sure I'll be corrected if I'm wrong. I believe there is like one originating um Innocence Project. And then they're the ones that are in different states aren't necessarily a part of the original one. I need to look it up and see. But Wade Wilson thinks the Innocence Project is taking his case, and he got catfished, and I love it. Somebody has to tell me. You guys have to tell me if anybody's listening to these calls. Let's see. What's my dream defense team? Kathleen Zellner is like my dream attorney. She is such a badass. Did you see Mickey a Murderer? She's the attorney that comes into the second season and does Stephen Avery's appeal. Um, she comes in and cleans house and gets some of these really high profile wrongful convictions overturned, and then they turn around, they sue the county or the city or the state or whatever. That's where she makes all her money. She's really, really, really good. Let's see. Other than that, I don't know, because honestly, I sit here and watch the trials same as you guys, and I don't necessarily like the defense attorneys I see. I think they are overly antagonistic. I don't think they need to be that way. I think it comes off as bullying to the jury. I don't think it's necessary. I have one defense attorney that I work for here in Tampa who I just think is the most likable defense attorney I've ever watched. And he's just he's just a master at it, and he's been doing it for a very, very long time. But other than that, I don't know. I saw yeah, I'm not impressed by very many of the defense attorneys I've seen recently. I have to think about that. Thanks for the question, Superball. Jeannie was 26 during OJ. I was in my 20s. Panic says, I just graduated college when OJ trial was going on. It was weird how differently my white and black coworkers saw that case. Oh, I can only imagine. And so that's another piece that I think could be really interesting is talking about um, society, like what was happening in the world then, because we had the LA riots and Rodney King, and that was all televised. I just feel like that there was such a I feel like the OJ trial was such a momentous sort of the 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 acquittal was such a momentous happening at that time. I don't know. I just think it had a big impact on pop culture that that we don't understand that that's where it came from. Let's see. Barbara says the OJ jury didn't understand DNA. Leah watched every second of the trial. I didn't watch all of it. Um, Amy says small town murder just oh, I've listened to their podcast. Uh Small Town Murder just revisited OJ on their Patreon. James P just sat through that entire trial. Well, I found where there is every piece of footage ever from the trial. So I wasn't going to try to redo the whole trial, but I was going to try to sort of go back and take a look at Nicole, like who was Nicole and who was Ron Goldman, and how victims get lost in the process of criminal cases, because they do, and it's sad, you know. Yes, I work for the defense because it needs to, people are entitled to having a defense, and for people to work on their team. Um, but it's sad how lost the victims get. Let's see. Julie says she lived in Ventura County at that time when they had the trial in Simi Valley. Amy says her first trial was the Manson family. Barbara says, what percentage of Florida cases are indigent? Well, a lot, most actually are. And you can also be found indigent for costs and hire a private attorney. So you could pay for your attorney and then have the state pay for experts and documents and all of those sorts of things, because defenses get very expensive very quickly. And the state of Florida, despite what everybody was saying about how much money was being spent on Sarah Boone, the state of Florida does not pay their experts well at all. I think it's like $175. We cannot get a doctor right now to call us back to do a psych eval on a kid. And I've been trying for a month. My colleague and I have been trying actually since the end of August, and I cannot get this kid evaluated, and he's looking at life. And I need a doctor, and they don't want to come and work for the JAC money because it's so low. Court reporters don't want to work for JAC money. The attorneys are paid like crap, but it is what it is. Amy says yeah, Pink Floyd during that same tour. It was when that album came out with the pig with the Learning to Fly. Hi, Julie. Superball says LA was on fire during those 5 years from Rodney to OJ. Yeah, that was a crazy time. Amy Cruz says she was listening to Wade Wilson, but life is too short for that loser and his BS on the phone. Listen, I cannot stand listening to it. Like I had to shut him off the other day. His cackling is never ending, and that whole saga is very entertaining, and the utter stupidity of those people is just I want to talk about it with somebody. Let's see. Jeannie saw the Avery documentary. So yeah, it's called Making a Murderer, and they did season 1 and they showed everything. And then season 2, Kathleen Zellner came in to the picture and showed a way in which she reenacted the entire thing and showed how it could have not been Stephen Avery. And I thought she was so good. She's such a badass. I love her. Uh Okay, so Super Bowl was in California at the time, I think, of the riots. Johnny Cochran was fabulous, yes. Amy says, I've heard there's a lot more to the OJ story than what was mentioned in the press. Sorry guys, I can't see much. Drugs and mob and money type of stuff going on in the background. I have no doubt there was stuff going on in that trial. The politics of the Los Angeles district attorney's office, the prosecution, those huge powerhouses of a defense that were brought in, the way in which the police treated OJ, the way they dealt with the investigation. There is so much there, I think. And, I was trying to think of a way that I could contribute something. I can do recaps. I can speed through some of the trials, but I'm not going to be able to go in and pull all the documents and go through them all with you guys the way the other channels can. I just can't, because then I wouldn't be able to do my job, and YouTube is not going to pay me any money to sit on here and talk to 9 people. So I thought OJ might be an interesting thing because there's just so much information there. Leah says she's 100% on board with delving into OJ, and she loves my take on it. Thank you, Leah. Especially delving into the pop culture aspect. I am obsessed with pop culture, so that always has me drawn in. So it's just such a huge thing, and I haven't wrapped my mind around it. Super Bowl is asking how many public defenders do defendants get on average? 3 or more? Um, Okay, so here's how it works in Florida. If you are arrested and charged with a crime, they will appoint you a public defender unless you say, "Call my own attorney." And if that public defender has a conflict, they have to come off the case. So they have to say, "Judge, I have to withdraw. I have a conflict. I can't represent this person." So in Sarah's case, I believe it was because public defender's office had represented George, maybe something to that effect. So they come off, and then there's another agency in the state of Florida called Office of Regional Conflict Counsel, and they get appointed on. Now, if they have a conflict, they do a lot of post conviction work and appellate work, which is post conviction work. Um, if they have a conflict, they have to come off, and when that happens, then the court goes to a list of private defense attorneys who have agreed to work for JAC rates, and they have to be at a certain experience level. So you have to have so many felony level trials to get to try first degree felonies. Death qualified attorneys are not in abundance. So for Sarah to have gone through that many lawyers, no, that's not normal. Three, okay, because if you, but usually what happens is the public defender won't have touched your case. Regional counsel might have your discovery, but nobody looked at it. So by the time it gets to the private defense attorney and into my hands, sometimes the actual crime was a couple years ago, but nobody's done any work on the case. So it's kind of a mess. Uh, Thank you, Barbara, for having come. Let's see. I appreciate you guys who showed up here for my inaugural stream. Thank you so much. Do I think George's family will sue Sarah? There's nothing to get out of Sarah. Brian's gonna have her parental rights terminated. And that's it. I mean, she's got her two brothers, one of whom I'm sure wants nothing to do with her, and the other one, I believe is serving some time in prison. Jeannie wants would like recaps. So yeah, I can, I can do recaps. I don't know. I need to think about how to approach that. I'm still trying to figure that out a little bit. Amy says, I saw Corey Richards' first attorney smiling for the camera on court TV the other day. It was hilarious. She looked happy to be rid of Corey and moving on. Yeah, we have those. I've got a guy right now who has told me and his attorneys that it's not him. He didn't do the crime. There is somebody out there who looks exactly like him, has the same tattoos, is the same height, same hair color. They're mistaken for each other all the time. But this guy, he doesn't have a home address. He's never been arrested. He's never been in jail. He doesn't have a driver's license. Nobody knows where his family is. All of these things, right? And conveniently, he killed himself, according to my client. So, client the client is going on and on about how he is really not the client. He is not this person that the police say he is. One of the attorneys texted me yesterday, and he said that he had just come from the jail, and a new client had said, yeah, and named this person as the name of the actual like person who did it. So I probably said that in a very confusing way. In other words, this guy's trying to tell us he isn't who he is, and it's ridiculous, and he thinks we're really stupid. And when I wouldn't buy his crap, he told the attorney not to let me come back there anymore, which is fine because I think he's a psychopath. Amy thinks Sarah's older brother stole a car after being released. Also, one of George's brothers committed murder. He killed his girlfriend. He stabbed her in the head. What? That is crazy. I feel bad for that family. I really do. I know that Sarah's and her parents and her grandparents. I remember basically everybody having died when she was fairly young. I have a whole pile of her writings here that I've been sitting on, so I'm gonna look through those and see what I've got. Do you think I could get any money for them on eBay? Have I ever turned down a case? Yes, recently. Well, I was asked if I would consider one. I don't know if the attorney ended up taking it. It was a sex abuse case, and it was actually a female perpetrator. And I read he sent me a link in the press about it, and I said, I don't want this one. I just don't. Um, let's see. Leah's having some typo issues. So, yeah, I don't know what all of us are gonna get invested in next. Um, but I look forward to trying to, you know, grow a little community, a little channel here on the YouTube. Did I catch Mr. J asking Sarah about Sarah's interest in PTM busted? He wouldn't have asked that without solid evidence. Hilarious. You don't have to censor, Amy, uncensor because I'm not monetized. Leah, I agree, it's not ethical, but I probably could get some money for Sarah's writings. And I actually have a lot of stuff in my possession. Um, Rhymes with corn. Oh, porn. Oh, the porn. That was funny. Well, she only watched it to see what George was watching. And by the way, that's cheating. Thank you guys. I'm tired. I've that's no that's I'm not monetized, so I don't know what YouTube could do to me. They don't know I exist. Nobody knows I exist except those of you I'm speaking to right now, and I appreciate you showing up and being here. Thank you, because I know I've had some technical difficulties, and um, I really wanted to come back and be on YouTube after being a guest on another channel, and it's just sort of hard to figure out where to start. And so I just finally decided I would start whether I had something really important to talk about or not. So, yes, porn is free for all. Have I been following the Melody Ferris trial? Melody Ferris. If so, do I think the jury will convict or acquit? Did she burn her husband in the backyard? Is that her? Okay, so Amy Crew, Law and Crime has been reporting on a ton of female teachers sexually assaulting their students. Well, guess what? That's the case I turned down. Burn pile murder. I have not followed that, but what I saw, maybe in some comments or some chats somewhere, that was a really interesting case. Has the jury been deliberating for a while, Amy? It must have been interesting. Chat, okay, Superball the cat would like to know what you guys feel about Casey Anthony. Well, I told Superball the cat last night that I did not pay any attention to Casey Anthony because I was in the process of moving from the west coast of Florida to the east so that I could go to law school. But I do remember being in IKEA with my mother, and she was like, you keep going. She sat down in front of a television on a couch in IKEA and watched the verdict or some part of the trial with all the other people while I continued shopping. So I don't know anything about Casey Anthony, except I don't have a very good impression of her. Let's see. Okay, so Jeannie says that on the burn pile case, they've had it since Wednesday. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I'm sure they're not deliberating over the weekend. Wow, okay. Um Jeannie does not want to hear about Casey Anthony anymore. Yeah, I feel like she got a lot of attention that maybe it was not she got positive attention that maybe wasn't deserved. Like Jodi Arias. She's another crazy one. Um yeah, so it looks like there's some divided opinions in the chat. Panic thinks Casey Anthony is Trailer Park. Leah says, "Don't get me started. I personally think the jury got it wrong." Jeannie or Superball thinks you guys' opinion is fair enough. I don't have an opinion except that it was messy. I'm tired of seeing parents killing their kids or abusing and torturing their kids. I'm really over that, seeing those trials. And in my own career, I'm really, really, really getting tired of people just straight up shooting each other, especially these teenage kids. And I'm telling you, I have to go into junior lockup, juvenile lockup for some of these kids because they are that young and they are facing first degree murder charges. And it's ridiculous. It should not be happening. These kids should be in school. They should not be out there killing each other. It's awful. And the thing, there's no defense for that. There's no defense for shooting someone blatantly on video surveillance camera. Well, there's no you shouldn't shoot you shouldn't be out there shooting. You shouldn't be out there running the streets with guns in your hands at 14, 15, and 16 shooting other people. That should not be happening in the first place. But then surveillance video is catching them, like, flat out. I've got one video where I blew it up and slowed it down, and my guy is in color standing in the middle of the street firing a gun. Okay, well, guess what? That's a death penalty case, and I don't know what the defense to that would be. So why are you going to take it to trial? I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. Is there any investigating for me to do on that? No. And that's getting to be the problem, which is why I think post conviction work would be far more interesting, because I do think there was a lot of corruption here, particularly in Florida, in small towns. You can still see it in the circuit courts. Like when I go down to Seminole County, I had a post conviction case down there, and those attorneys and judges, that whole system in there, they are just thick as thieves. And so much so that, like, a witness that would not appear in court was calling the attorneys on the phone and saying, "Hey, I'm just not gonna come to court." And so the cops didn't bring him even though there was a warrant. Let's see. Okay. Jeannie says, "Yeah, there were a lot many of those cases in the last 2 months alone." I don't know if you're talking about the sexual assault cases, but it's there seems to be a rash of them. A lot of parents too. Amy says, "Timothy Charles Holmseth, an investigative reporter, says that Casey Anthony didn't do it and that it is an SRA case, and names the man who did it, and that Casey is an SRA victim." Okay. Sorry for I keep bumping my computer. Superball wants to know if I saw any parallels in the Depp, Heard, and Sarah's trial regarding the abuse and the drunken events and such. Uh-huh. Yes, I did. I'm guessing you guys did too. Did you guys watch Depp v. Heard? That's kind of I was never even intending to watch that trial, but I needed something in the background, and that was what was on. And I hooked into that midway through, but not before Johnny or Amber testified. What I hate about what Amber and Sarah have done is that it's such a fight to get people to recognize domestic abuse on either side. Obviously, George was abused, probably more than Sarah, likely more than Sarah. But what they have done is they took that Me Too movement and the Believe All Victims, and they twisted that to try to help themselves, and it's horrible because they didn't deserve to have those defense. That was not their defenses to take. Now I know in Amber Heard's case that was a civil case, and she thought they'd go for her story, and they didn't. And Johnny Depp was just fantastic on the witness stand. I loved every minute of it, Mr. Rottenborn. He's just so great. I thought I had something to say, but of course I've forgotten about it. Yeah, the teen violence is killing me. Yes, I saw Orlando just had another, mass shooting. I did see that. Let's see. Was heard violent with Depp. So, yeah, I think there was a lot of mutual, uh I think Johnny Depp had a drug and alcohol problem, maybe still does, had anger issues. You can see him being violently angry, but he's abusing kitchen cabinets and not Amber. We heard testimony of some not so great things. I don't think he was the monster she made him out to be, and I don't think that that situation in the rental house in Australia went down exactly the way she told it. I think there was probably something, but I don't think it was the way in which she told us. I just don't. Uh, Johnny was verbally loud, but not at Amber. Yeah. Well, I mean, she was purposely trying to provoke him. It's just crazy. One of the things that I have to deal with a lot is that baby mamas will call in DVs when baby daddy is rocking a new girl. And somebody's going to jail when you do that. And when you do that and your guy goes to jail and nobody can post his bail, then he's not making any money for either you or the girlfriend, and you just screwed up a lot of people's lives. It sucks, and they need to stop it. And TV says, "Oh, well, you can get the charges dropped if you want." No, no, you can't. It doesn't work like that. Jeannie says the Depp case was an hour from her. Oh, you're not able to drive. Yeah, that was such a scene, though. My gosh, it had its own pop culture moment. Let's see. Amber was way more abusive to Johnny than the other way around. I think she was too. Yeah, Amber and Sarah, Leah, you're right, are very much alike. Let's see. They are similar. Amy's asking Superball the cat, do you think she would have stabbed him or something creepy? I don't know um, who you're referring to, George or Johnny. My cat's going to stare at this. He's staring at the ceiling. The last time he did that, we had 2 hurricanes in 2 weeks. Let's see, sorry. Something would have happened, maybe slip something in his drink or mix in his meds. Oh, Amber taking Johnny out? I think that's entirely possible. Why is he staring at the ceiling the last time? No. No, 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 no. He climbs all the way up there and is staring at the ceiling where all the water comes in. That is not great. Yeah, Depp was hot when he was young. Did you see him, back in the '80s when he was on, 21 Jump Street? Mm. Yeah, he did admit that he had anger and drugs and alcohol abuse, and his security covered up a lot of stuff for him, but I still don't think he was the monster that Amber made him out to be. I just don't. Heard ruined a message of Lisa Bonet. I didn't know that. You need to see my kitty. Well, you can, except I'm not flipping this computer around for you to see the disaster that's on the backside. His his name is Henry. If you're on any of the videos that I have been on before, you might have heard him meowing in the background. But right now, I have really high ceilings where I am in this apartment, and I'm on the second floor, and he has climbed up to the very top of a shelf. So he's about a foot or two away from the ceiling, and he's just staring at it in a place where it leaks, which was entertaining until the storms came. Okay. I need you to get down from there, Henry. So, yeah. Well, I appreciate so much you guys coming out to talk to me. I'm so sorry I messed up the stream at the beginning. Panic says, even though I wouldn't touch him with a 10-foot pole, Johnny Depp is still hot. He can be. Uh, Superball wants Henry on screen. Oh god. Yeah, I don't know about now he has settled in, you've got to be kidding me. So I do want to live stream. Um, I'm hoping that I can do that so I can have a chance to interact with you guys. And Leah had told me that nobody, not that I'm going to compete with any of the big people, but that nobody is streaming on Saturday nights. And if that's the case, then that might be a good time for me to come on. So that's what I'm going to do, I think, for now, is jump on Saturday nights. And I'd like to hear from people whether or not they'd be interested in looking back at OJ, what they want to hear, what you guys want to hear about in general. Amy says, "Congratulate! Oh, you guys are so sweet." So so this is Super Bowl. The cat belongs to Trial TV Live. You guys have to go subscribe to Trial TV Live. I was on video with them last night for 4 hours. They're fantastic. They are here in Florida. They picked up when Recovery Addict lost his feed. Maybe it was even trial Law and Crime. I can't remember what they told me, but somebody dropped their feed out of Sarah Boone's and they picked it up last week. So they are doing hard work and they just saved this whole thing for me tonight. So thank you so much to Aaron and Chris for saving me. I really appreciate your support. Um Thank you so much, Amy. I know that you had come from the other channel as to Jeannie, and thank you guys so much. Yeah, I want to bring you stuff you guys want to talk about, and I will deal with Instagram. I have not been on social media for 10 years. Um, I have like a throwaway account where I follow various celebrities. So I don't know. I guess I wanted to sort of test the waters and see if people want to hear from a criminal defense investigator with a law degree, because I'm not sure. Thank you for subbing to them, Jeannie. They are great. They have saved my stream. They have 3 lovely cats, and they're very nice people. And they are, they are, they are doing us a service because right now, while nothing is on to stream, they've been pulling up old trials, like the very polite one from Wisconsin, and streaming that for us, which has been awesome because I hate having to channel surf around looking for something to just have on in the background. So I appreciate Trial TV Live. And on November 13th, I'm supposed to be a guest. So you might want to tune into them there. Erin's having same issues that Squeegee was having, not being able to post here, but she's supporting. I know you guys are. Thank you so much. I appreciate you so much. Thank you guys. I don't want to take up any more of your weekend time, but talk to me in the community posts and tell me what you want to hear so that I can come in and talk to you. Because I really enjoy the live chat part of it. It's I just have to figure out how to work it into my schedule and see if if you guys want to come and hang out with me. So thank you so much for showing up. I appreciate it. Thank you for your patience while I messed up the tech. Okay? So thank you guys. You have a great rest of your weekend and hopefully I will talk to you soon. Bye.